This is a Rattle and Hump Sports podcast for Monday, September the 30th, 2013. I'm Bryan Houston. We thought the Major League Baseball season might be over as of today, but the Texas Rangers have risen from the grave, and they are still alive going into a one-game playoff to get into a one-game playoff for the wild card as they get ready to take on Tampa tonight. And with us right now for Rattle and Hump Sports, Dic Humphrey. Dic, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. So are the Rangers, obviously.
No kidding. What happened here? This team was dead and buried about a week and a half ago. Obviously, the schedule has helped them quite a bit, but still, even with a weak schedule earlier, they were not winning ball games. Then they went on this run to actually force a playoff. What's been the difference?
Well, they acted like they finally got their backs to the wall. They lost 2 out of 3 last weekend in Kansas City, and realized that at that point in time they had lost control of their fate. They could lose, they could win every game and still be shut out of the playoffs. That was the first time that had happened when they lost to Kansas City. Certainly, Houston came in, was for the first 3 games of the week in Arlington. That's a pitiful team. It ended up losing its last 15 games of the season, and included were the 3 that the Rangers swept Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But really and truly, the Angels came in on a good roll. They were 23-9 over their previous 32 games. More than a month of really good baseball, and it sure looked to me like the Rangers had their work cut out for them in that series with the Angels. There's sometimes, though, some teams seem to have the other team's number. And the Rangers this year went 15-4 against the Angels, and that included 10-1 at the ballpark in Arlington. And that consequently meant a sweep this past weekend. Looked improbable to me on Thursday, but it happened. And as it turned out, the Rangers did need every one of those 7 wins to still be playing baseball today. Cleveland has won 10 in a row. They claimed the top spot in the wild card playoff. They will host tonight's winner. Tampa Bay, fortunately for the Rangers, lost 2 games against Toronto over the weekend, and forced this one-game playoff tonight. But as far as how it happened, the Rangers have had all the parts. We've talked about the bullpen's been terrific. By and large, the starting pitching's been good. The offense has been spotty at times, but it got together this week, and it just seemed like all the parts finally got together at the same time. The bullpen especially has been outstanding, and that's enabled Washington to be fairly quick getting his starters out of there. Over the last 6 games, the bullpen's pitched 20 2/3 innings, only giving up 10 hits. A hit an inning is usually a pretty good ratio. That's a little better than a hit every 2 innings. They've only given up 1 run, 7 walks, and 27 strikeouts. Wow, what a performance.
They've had terrific pitching. It's been the hitting unusually for the Rangers this year. After a history of just being able to bludgeon people, you're just not used to seeing that. But who finally has come alive bat-wise to keep them alive here?
Well, Elvis Andrus has been better, and Kinsler was a little better too. And they're 1-2 in the batting order, and just getting them on to have some base runners enabled the team to score earlier in games, take some leads earlier in games, not constantly be playing from behind, which they've done for a good bit of the season. They still led the league in the fewest runs scored in the first inning. It's a bad statistic to lead the league in, but that's helped a bunch. And it's been sort of everybody. I mean, Soto caught yesterday. He often catches when Darvish pitches, and there was a left-handed pitcher going for the Angels, and he gets a key hit to drive in a go-overhead run in the middle of the game, and he gets a home run late to put the icing on the 6-2 win. So he certainly has had some big hits this week, and he came up big yesterday. The other one that has just been astounding, and this is one thing that happens late like this, all the probabilities of left against left and right against right, you kind of throw that out, and you just look at somebody that's hot and say, I'm going with a hot hand. And that's what Washington has largely done with Craig Gentry. And he has just been something else. His last 10 games, 17 for 36, batted almost 500, and he's stolen 10 bases in that time. So Craig Gentry, he's been playing left, right, I've been playing against left-handed and right-handed pitchers, and has basically replaced David Murphy in left field. So he's been extremely hot, and with that base running ability of his, he's a real game changer. So
let's talk a little bit about a decision that was made by Wash yesterday to pull Yu Darvish at 84 pitches in the 6th inning, and to bring in Neil Kotz to face Josh Hamilton. Even as of after the ball game, Darvish said that he had walked Mike Trout on purpose to get to Hamilton and felt like he was going to stay in there. He was surprised he was pulled. What do you make of all of that?
Well, I was surprised when it happened, and there was no question that Darvish was extremely disappointed as he came off the field at being pulled there. And with 84 pitches, this is supposed to be your ace. He's supposed to be able to get anybody out if he's an ace pitcher. He has had some penchant for giving up leads lately. And the inning started with a base hit and then a double play, then another base hit, and a stolen base opened up first base. And he didn't throw Trout much of anything with first base open. Trout had hit the home run in the first inning, so there was really no need to give him much to hit. I was still pretty shocked. I mean, if Washington has defended Darvish and said he's his ace, and certainly this guy leads the team in ERA, is in the top 10 in the league in ERA, leads the major leagues in strikeouts, just devastating stuff, and it was really surprising, and I have to wonder if there's going to be some longer-term ramifications here with Darvish. He obviously was not happy about it.
But this was like the third start where he's not been able to get out of the 6th inning, so is there concern about his health maybe?
Well, there is some question. At some point in time in the past 2 or 3 weeks, he made some comment about having a health problem that he was dealing with, but he wouldn't disclose what it was. The Rangers had gone out earlier before they took him out and brought the trainer for a physical visit. Didn't count as a trip to the mound for the manager. There was nothing said. Certainly there were questions afterward, and everybody pretty well elated what might have been wrong or what they suspected was wrong. But obviously, for Washington to take the trainer and jump out there and run out to the mound, there was some suspicion that there was a physical problem of some sort. But again, part of this is that the bullpen's been so good that Washington in general has just been quicker to take these starters out.
Well, and that leads to another question. Because of the last 2 or 3 games, and is there an issue where Wash's trust factor in Darvish has kind of been reduced?
Well, I certainly read that into it when he pulled him yesterday with just 84 pitches. And that score was only 2-1. I mean, And then, of course, Cots gives up the single to Hamilton, and that ties the score. So Darvish's chance to win the game just flew right out the window with that next at bat after he left. So it does make you wonder if there is something of a trust factor there, but. It has been a different style of baseball. I mean, it's sort of been all hands on deck, and you just pull out all the stops, and pitchers pitching on 4 straight days out of the bullpen, things like that you don't normally do during the course of the season because you have no choice when you have to win all the games.
Okay, the other major story, of course, coming out of yesterday was the fact that Nelson Cruz has been added to the 40-man roster, is active and available, and it looks like he's going to be in the starting lineup tonight. First of all, your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. John Daniels had never really committed to it. Washington certainly had said he wanted Cruz. Cruz is a very popular player in the clubhouse, and the players certainly made no bones about it that they wanted him. There was somewhat of a precedent last year when Melky Cabrera with the Giants received a suspension during the season, and when he came back, the Giants were on their way to making the playoffs, and they just didn't want him back. Now, one of the differences is that was Cabrera's first year with the Giants. Cruz has been here for like 6 years, and he's certainly been an integral part of the team. Practically speaking, as you and I have talked in almost every one of these podcasts, offense has been a problem for this Ranger team. And Cruz had 27 home runs and 76 RBIs. Both led the team when the suspension happened. So it's a badly needed bat. And again, they have had him working out early in the Dominican Republic. They sent him to Arizona to play games in the instructional league in the past week or so to try to get him ready for it. So all signs pointed that they were going to do this, and the probability is that he'll be the designated hitter tonight.
Well, the question is, now you mentioned what he's been doing to get ready, but is that, is that too much to ask for him to come in and step in against a guy like David Price tonight and be able to hit like he was hitting before he was suspended?
Well, that's a good question. That is a good question. Now, I did look up to see which hitters have done well in their careers against Price. And there are 4 hitters that have done extremely well. Alex Rios has 435, and the most at-bats, he's got 23 at-bats against him. Beltre is at 348, Andrus is at 353, and Cruz, amazingly, is at 500 against him.
Well,
that is only 12 at-bats, but and Price just in general has not done extremely well against the Rangers, nor has and he's done even worse in Arlington. So it'll be interesting to see how it happens tonight.
All right, one of the issues, I know Ian Kinsler remarked that he was disappointed in the turnout for Sunday's ball game. They had 40,000 there, about 9,000 empty seats. They still finished at 3.1 million this year for fan turnout. What kind of crowd do you expect tonight?
Oh, I think it'll sell out tonight. One of my friends has some tickets. I don't know what the face value is, but I'm guessing no more than $75. He sold them on StubHub for $200 a piece.
Wow.
And after he posted them. They're not terrific seats. They're good seats, but they're not terrific seats. But they went real fast. So, you had the Cowboys playing against the Rangers yesterday. The team has been kind of disappointing, and I think a lot of the fans sort of written it off. I mean, they had those 3 horrible weeks, and plus the weekend before where they were 6-16 in the middle of September. It pretty well took them out. But anyway, they're not out yet. They get one more chance at least.
And they send a rookie out in Martin Perez, but nobody seems to be real concerned with that, the way he's pitched down the stretch.
He has pitched extremely well. He has never, he's made 30 starts in the major leagues. He's never started against the Rays. He has pitched some innings in relief against them. So far, he is 2-2 with a 3.48 ERA in September after being the American League Pitcher of the Month in August. So he seems to be learning and developing right before our eyes and just getting better and better and better.
Well, so you don't think the lights are going to be too bright for him tonight, then?
No, I think he'll be fine. It is at home. I think that's a real positive for him. You know, they've been home for a week. I think he'll just get up, come to the ballpark, and pitch another game.
Okay. All right, so breaking it all down, the Rangers win tonight if, fill in the blank.
Well, they've got to score some runs, and they have in the past against Price. I'm not sure that 4 might even be the magic number. If they score 4, they probably win. But I think 5 certainly will do it. I think just with the bullpen on the roll it's been on, and with Perez on the roll that he's been on, that the Rays are not going to score a lot of runs tonight.
Okay. And one other thing I'll just throw out here, and you tell me what you think of this. This team, again, has seemed to climb out of the grave 2 or 3 times this season when everybody thought that they finally were going to just wilt. They would find ways to bounce back. It just seems like a much more mentally tough team than the team that they put on the field that had a lot more pop in the lineup last year. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, there's no question that in the larger picture of things, to answer your question a little bit differently, the team that went to the World Series in 2010 and 11, the window of opportunity for that team has closed, and then the Rangers are really in a transition year to get from that team to another team. I don't think they're there yet that will remain competitive, and actually to win 91 games is just remarkable with all the question marks, the one-year players like Krasinski and Berkman, the free agents to be like Cruz and Murphy and Garza after they got him, and effectively Nathan now with the earning the opt-out that he's got in his contract. So it's really remarkable. This team is just hard to. I hate to say they're mentally tough. I mean, sometimes they just look real fragile. Like there were some games they'd just be dead, and you wonder where they are mentally, and they make mistakes on the bases, and yet they have so much capability. I mean, this team has good speed. Rios and Andrus and Kinsler and Gentry are all really good base stealers. This team's got some power. Beltre, Pierzynski, Rios to some degree. Cruz is back now. It's got a lot of good parts to it. And defensively, you know, Beltre's outstanding at third. Last year's Gold Glove winner. Andrus has made all-star teams. Kinsler, again, he turned a marvelous double play yesterday. And he is one of the best I've ever seen at turning double plays. He is fantastic at it. And yet they can go stink it up. They had one game this week where they had the 4 errors in 1 inning. I mean, this team, the one thing you can say that they consistently have been is inconsistent. I mean, they just seem to be able to turn on a dime and go from playing great baseball to bad baseball and vice versa.
So, based on that gut feel, what happens tonight?
I think they'll win. You know, they beat the Rays in 2010 and 2011 when they went to the World Series, They seem to have their number in the playoffs. It is in Arlington. Of course, everybody's on a good roll. I mean, Cleveland's won 10 in a row. The Rays have won 8 of their last 10, and the Rangers have now won 7 in a row to get here. So all 3 of the wild card teams. But, you know, a lot of the times you scramble so hard to get in that momentum seems to carry over in the playoffs. And we've seen teams like, unfortunately, Ranger fans have seen teams like the St. Louis Cardinals 2 years ago that barely eked into the playoffs and ended up winning the World Series. So if the Rangers can win tonight and win Wednesday, they're going to have a good shot at advancing in the playoffs.
Amazing. They're not dead yet.
No.
All right, Dick. It's great talking to you. Hopefully we can do this again and be talking about a team that's got one more game to play at least. If they can get into a series, one-game series with Cleveland, that'd be a terrific thing considering the way this looked about a week and a half ago again.
Yep, that's true.
All right, Dick.
So hopefully we'll have something to talk about in the next couple of days.
Be great. Thank you very much for coming on with us as always.
And thanks for having me as always.
Dic Humphrey, again, covering the Texas Rangers for Rattle and Hump Sports. This is a Rattle and Hump Sports podcast. I'm Bryan Houston. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.